Tell a great story.
Come on inside, I'll show you around.
How much would you say that's worth?
What?
These and other shows from your PBS station are available with Passport on the PBS Video app. Download it today.
New England Public Media is sponsored in part by our contributing viewers and by WPI's Business School, merging business and tech using data-driven management skills to work, learn, and lead in a complex global business world. More at business.wpi.edu.
You're watching New England Public Media, WGBY Springfield.
Before they were born, they lost their fathers in the tragedy of 9/11. PBS traces 7 young lives as they carve their own paths in an ever-changing America.
I feel motivated to make a difference.
Generation 9/11.
Tune in or stream Generation 9/11 August 31st on NEPM.
Coming up, stories we're connecting you with tonight. Word by Words Festival showcases the power of women's voices.
Always listen to a black woman who look at you like they know your destiny. You can know if the love from a look you receive is genuine.
A passion for sewing leads one local woman to start a new business.
Sewing is a therapy, and it's also a way for me to create new things from scratch.
And we'll take you on a trip to explore the beauty and history of Cape Cod's National Seashore.
The waves are always shaping, reshaping, building up, taking away. So every time you go to the beach, it's a rediscovery.
We'll bring you those stories and more as we explore the creativity, culture, and community that make us Western New England. Up next on Connecting Point.
Support for Connecting Point is provided by our contributing viewers.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us for Connecting Point. I'm Saidalis Bauer. After more than a year of virtual performances, Word by Word, a Western Massachusetts-based organization celebrating diversity through spoken word, is finally back together in person. To celebrate the return of live poetry, Word by Word held a 3-day festival at famed author Edith Wharton's home, The Mount in Lenox. One of the nights was dedicated just for women and aptly named Words by Women. Connecting Point's Ross Lipman takes us to that event where the power of their voices was on display.
Word by Word's mission is to create community through spoken word.
If something in the house needed hammering and a hammer wasn't handy, we'd use whatever came to hand.
And our world has faced this challenge about what it means to be a community. But we are so excited about being back and being live and in person again, because so much of what we do is literally bringing people together so that the unplanned moments can happen.
We spent the evening taming her overheating razor and laughing the clippings from my back with a sock. Think pandemic blues, or rejection of feminine, or embrace of feminine, something manic.
We thought it would be important to have a women-focused event because we have men and women who are part of Word by Word, but the organization tends to be a woman-centric organization. And the other reason we thought it would be important is that we've seen the power and the importance of women's voices in the world.
Always listen to a black woman who look at you like they know your destiny. You can know if the love from a look you receive is genuine.
We've been collaborators for probably somewhere between 5 and 10 years now. The grounds are so magnificent that it actually serves as sort of a wonderful inspirational platform for all kinds of art, sculpture, poetry, music. The Mount hosts them all these days, and it's been wonderful.
If by some twist of fate, or God had a sense of humor in our future years, I imagine a day is coming we will run into each other on a beautiful day of sun and no clouds, that maybe in this distant future we'll look over one day as we're in loving embraces with the men who compliment us, and our eyes will connect and we'll smile and maybe share in that side-splitting laughter again.
We have a huge range of ages represented tonight, from, I believe, 15 to 70 something.
That same year, my grandmother visited me in my tenement on the Lower East Side, and she cried because it looked just like the tenement she'd left in 1914. My life is history, told in Ken Burns documentaries.
I hope that people come away with an appreciation for the power of women's voices at every stage of life.
Your apples taught me that girl is not synonymous with sweet. I am not sorry that I wasn't bred to be easy to eat. Your apples taught me that if they don't like how you taste, they should stop biting. As if by growing, we implicitly invited them to pluck. You taught me that. You taught me no. You taught me the problem lies not with the apple, but with a world that tries to swallow all the little women whole.
And in an online exclusive, Word by Word performers share excerpts from some of their powerful pieces with Connecting Point.
You used to giggle at the dirty jokes I learned from older brother, and when Tattletale told her dad, told the teacher, told my mother, it was your forbidden fruit that told my shame to fall like leaves.
Fly off the handle was very real to us. Hammerheads broke away, pliers fell apart. We had only 2/3 of a yardstick, and we girls were not allowed to get even close to Dad's wobbly hatchets.
You can find those performances as well as extra features, digital-only content, and so much more online right now at nepm.org/connectingpoint. Since the age of 17, Lucila Sanchez has harbored a passion for sewing. After spending several years as a chef and working in bank management, Lucila followed this passion and opened up Azaleah's Sewing Academy and Handmade Shop. The Springfield-based academy teaches sewing skills to all, from the novice who wants to mend a hem to the more advanced student who wants to make their own clothes. Lucila joins me in the studio to share more about her goal of making sewing accessible regardless of skill level and how she developed her passion for it.
Because of the pandemic, I started sewing masks, and we donated so many of them. And because of the quality, people started asking me to sell them. So we did. And after that, then another items came over. We started sewing wristlets and many other items. And I decided to change career and go into what I really, really love. This is my passion.
You first started sewing at age 17 after taking a home economics course in high school. What is it about sewing that you love so much? Why are you so passionate about it?
Well, sewing, it's not just a skill. Sewing is a therapy. So you know that I did banking for 14 years. That means stress over stress. And I used to go home and sew a little bit just for relaxing. So my passion is not only relaxing, it's also a way for me to create new things from scratch. So I just love it.
Sewing, just as you said, is more than a skill. For you, it's therapy, it's a craft, it's also an art. Can you talk about the artistic aspects of sewing and working with a needle and a thread?
Oh gosh, I love this question. I love it. Because when we cut the fabrics or the materials and then we choose the thread, what kind of needle we're going to be doing, it's an art, like you said. And then you see all those pieces of materials and they don't mean anything when you look at them. But when you put them together, oh, then you see the creation. I just love it. It's an art, like you said.
The Sewing Academy offers bilingual classes in Spanish and English with different experience levels and participants of all ages. Can you walk us through those different levels and some of the projects that are being made?
Yes. Well, we teach kids. We do kids classes in the age range from 8 or 9 to 10, 11. And those teenagers like 12 to 16, they go into the adult class because they can handle the machine. They have the skills and they are mature enough to handle a machine. So we do 101, which is the basic one. We do 102 and we do 103, and 104 is actually under construction right now because they asked for it. So 101 is basically it's for those who have never ever have touched a machine before, and for those who have been sewing for such a long time, not knowing that there was a lot that they didn't know about. So they learn everything. They learn a little bit of the history of sewing. There's a history behind it. They learn about the history of the machine. They learn how to handle the machine from scratch, like say from A to Z, proper names, the function. They learn all about the machine, and they learn how to do straight lines, semicircles, how to put together a project, and they actually come out with making a bag. Gorgeous. It looks like it's kind of difficult to make, but it's not. They come out with the skills.
And upon completion of the Sewing Academy, you celebrate the students with a graduation. What types of skills will the students leave with, aside from the obvious ones, but the skills that that are really going to be able to apply to other things with sewing?
Well, when you mentioned, I love it because it's not just a skill. They leave out with a lot of self-confidence. So I love when they come in, they are afraid to touch the machine. They're afraid to cut fabric. And when they get into the class, and it's not only confident for sewing, they apply that to their life.
Despite the challenging times that we are all facing during this pandemic, you have been able to move forward and open up your very own small business. What advice do you have for other entrepreneurs?
For all of them, not to give up. Go for it. Do not let the pandemic, do not let anybody to tell you that you cannot do what you can do.
So you've said that building meaningful connections is one of your favorite parts of this new business. How has your business helped other local businesses and communities so far, and why is this so important to you?
At Azaleah Sewing Academy, the place that we have, we also allow people to come in and bring their own business cards and just leave it at the counter. We also allow them to use the place for them to do any kind of meeting as well. And Azaleah Sewing Academy is not just a business. It's a place for the community. And they feel like they own it as well, let me tell you. So yes, it's the same way that I have been receiving so much support. I like to give them back to my community.
Now, you're empowering each of these participants by teaching them an important life skill. How are they, in turn, empowering you?
You know what? When I first started teaching sewing, I thought that I was going to be the one leading and teaching. Well, guess what? Ended up that I'm the one learning more from them than what they're actually learning from me. I have learned they are so humble, especially those who come and have been sewing for such a long time. It's not easy to go to an academy and start learning something that they already know that they knew. So putting all the knowledge that they have on the side to start from scratch and let someone younger to teach them, that really inspired me.
60 years ago this week, on August 7th, 1961, President John F. Kennedy formally signed into law the creation of the Cape Cod National Seashore. The new park set aside what would become more than 43,000 acres of prime Outer Cape property from the elbow of Chatham to the tip of Provincetown. Tonight, producer Dave Frazier shares part one of a three-part series on the National Seashore and how it invited visitors to experience a different kind of seaside, unpolished and undeveloped.
A grand place to be alone and undisturbed is how playwright Eugene O'Neill described the outer beaches of Cape Cod, a 40-mile stretch along the outside of the hooked elbow that shelters Cape Cod Bay.
This was probably one of the most treacherous areas along the East Coast because of the way Cape Cod sticks out.
I had no idea, living in Chatham here as a kid, that there was this sort of wider Cape Cod.
The waves are always shaping, reshaping, building up, taking away. So every time you go to the beach, it's a rediscovery.
When people go out to the dunes or to Race Point or Herring Cove and you watch a sunset or a sunrise, you've never seen anything like it.
Spending time on the outer beach can induce a feeling of enchantment that led visitors, especially writers and artists, to feel themselves reimagined while they were there. Literary giants like Eugene O'Neill, E.E. Cummings, Jack Kerouac, Mary Oliver, and perhaps most importantly, Henry Beston, whose 1928 book, The Outermost House, chronicled the outer beaches, dunes, wetlands, and harbors, and awoke Cape Codders to a landscape that needed protection.
He was out there in the middle of this beautiful natural setting that it had always appealed to him, but he never got to experience it. And the more he was out there, the more he fell in love with the place. So he had a house built out on what is now Coast Guard Beach. It had 10 windows. He said he had a rather amateurish enthusiasm for windows. I had 10. I was told by one of his friends that nature and writing were synonymous with him. He talked about the rhythms of the waves, how they came in threes. He was just so taken by that. And he said that the writing has to have rhythms, just like the waves.
The water has always been the Cape's calling card. Fishing built towns like Truro and Provincetown in the mid-19th century. By 1920, Cape Cod boasted just under 27,000 residents. By 1950, that number had nearly doubled. People wanted what the Cape offered, its rural character and its unfettered access to the sea. But in coming here, they changed the very thing they were seeking.
Cape Cod was at a crossroads in the 1950s, for sure. Land was still available and still inexpensive, and there was a danger of development taking off and turning the place into more densely populated coastal areas. But at this point in the mid-1950s, there was still a 40-mile or so unbroken stretch of outer beach that, for the National Park Service, was enticing because it offered a lot of public recreation to people within a day's drive of this area.
In 1955, a first-term senator from Massachusetts sponsored a bill that would largely serve as the framework for the seashore legislation. That senator would become president, and in 1961 signed the bill into law creating the Cape Cod National Seashore. Some 3 to 4 million people visit the National Seashore every year. For a small fee during the summer months, anyone can have access to this pristine beach, its blue Atlantic, its long sands, and its commanding high bluffs. This isn't a gated property, it's there for all those who choose to come, which is what its creators had intended.
I've worked over 30 years at this National Seashore, and what I found here was that outer beach, that sense of solitude, that place to escape, and that is my go-to place. As park historian, I love the historic buildings, the lighthouses, the human stories, the dune shacks, but in my spare time and when I need a break from the busyness of working at a park, I go to the outer beach, especially on a foggy day or early morning or at sunset. That is a great place to reignite the passion of working at a national park.
And you can watch part 2 of our series exploring the Cape Cod National Seashore next week right here on NEPM. Every Friday night, Connecting Point explores the creativity, culture, and community that make us Western New England. But it doesn't stop there. You can find us online anytime for exclusive features and content. This Saturday is National Lighthouse Day, and in honor of that, producer Dave Frazier further explores the Cape Cod National Seashore by uncovering the history of the Cape's oldest lighthouse. Known as the Highlands Light, it sits at 120 feet above the ocean in Truro, Mass.
There's no doors in the light room, because if you were to open that door 100 years ago and a high wind, might blow out the light. That would be a disaster. So you go out the lower gallery, walk around, climb a ladder on the back.
Don't miss this digital exclusive available online right now at nepm.org/connectingpoint. Berkshire County is home to 5 state-designated cultural districts: the Downtown Great Barrington Cultural District, the Lenox Cultural District, the North Adams Cultural District, the Upstreet Cultural District in Pittsfield, and the Williamstown Cultural District. These districts are coming together for ArtWeek Berkshires this September with a festival of events that will celebrate the arts throughout the county. ArtWeek is currently seeking events applications for the festival, which highlights the county's creative economy, cultural treasures, and artistic assets. And I spoke with festival organizers to learn more.
It was amazing that the state did this for a few years, and the Berkshires, in the collaborative spirit that the Berkshires have, said we want to continue this even though the state is not continuing it. Because we now have 5 cultural districts, 5 designated cultural districts by the Mass Cultural Council, and that's a lot in one county. So the cultural districts decided to take it upon themselves and say, let's do this. Let's continue to do this just within our county without the state's official event.
Why is it important for the 5 cultural districts to collaborate with each other?
I think the Berkshires in general, being 30 towns and 2 cities with no centralized government, we really rely a lot on collaborations in order to move people around the county, get people to come into the county. And so this was a great opportunity to really empower the creative economy to continue pushing their message, and then also not only shine a light on our major institutions, but even more so to shine a light on all of the smaller artisans throughout the area.
The festival will be celebrating the creative arts through different events around the county from September 16th through the 26th. What are some of those events that we can be expecting to see?
We're really excited to be creating a county-wide open studio event where any artist in the county, in the region, can participate. And we've done the open studio events for Art Week several years. The Lenox Cultural District did participate in an open studio event that was based on Lenox galleries and Lenox artists. So expanding it to the county is a really wonderful opportunity for people to visit the studios and get behind the scenes looks at the artists, the many incredible artists that live and work all over Berkshire County. In addition to that, there are a tremendous amount of other events that are going to be offered, including live performances and music and behind the scenes artist talks.
There's a few sort of paper marbling demonstration going to be happening. Sculpture Now, which is happening at the Mount, will be part of it. Up in North Adams at Gallery 51, there will be an event called Hostile Terrain that's focused on, an undocumented migration project. So I think there's going to be something for everyone.
In Pittsfield, we are doing a concert with the Whiskey Treaty Roadshow called A Community Celebration on Friday, September 17th. And we are very excited. We're now going to be honoring essential workers at that concert, and anything involving the Whiskey Treaty Roadshow is truly special.
It's a good showing.
And we have open studios in Pittsfield, and Jessie Tobin McCulley is curating once again the Drive, Walk, Bike by City Art Show. Last year, they had more than 40 artists literally set up on their front lawn. And you can drive, walk, or bike by and see this. And so we're super excited that that's happening again. That was kind of because of COVID, but it was such a success that they're doing it again.
Now, Lindsay, you alluded to this a little bit earlier. The creative economy is a huge economic engine for Berkshire County, which holds many art-related festivals and events. What makes ArtWeek Berkshires different from other festivals that have taken place in the Berkshires, and how does it impact the creative economy directly?
I mean, I think it goes back to what Cassandra talked about earlier, the collaboration of it and bringing all of those cultural districts together. I think you'll find lots of single entities do amazing work, or a single town will hold a festival. But the scope of this, that is from tail to tip, from Williamstown all the way down to Sheffield, and Lee and Lenox and, small hill towns and things, really makes the difference in regards to it just being truly a county-wide collaboration.
Yeah, it's really another step towards unifying the county for an overall creative vision for the creative economy, so that we can share and promotion, and especially now when we're all really looking to get out and do things and be together. Having said that, a lot of these events will be virtual, and if people want to submit an event and participate in Art Week, they can create an event that is in person or virtual.
And that brings me to my next question, because applications to be part of the festival are still open. Who do you encourage to apply, and what are the ways that people can participate?
Everyone should apply. And I think this is most important. There are organizations around the Berkshires that are already doing events from September 16th to the 26th. Those count. Please submit. Those are the easiest ones to use for this Art Week. Submit those events because they count. They're already happening, but we just want to give you more promotion by listing them in the Art Week Berkshires listings.
One of the wonderful things about this event is that it is all inclusive. So if you're an arts organization in the Berkshires, you can participate. If you're an artist without representation, you can participate. If you're a gallery, you can participate. If you're a restaurant, we want the event to be broad and have a diverse range of events. There is no fee to submit an application or to have an event. So you just have to go to berkshires.org website or any of the cultural districts website to find the application form to submit your event for Art Week, which is September 16th to 26th.
That does it for Connecting Point for August 6, 2021. Remember, you can always find the stories that you saw tonight, as well as exclusive features, digital-only content, and more online anytime at nepm.org/connectingpoint. And please be sure to join us again next Friday night at 6 right here on New England Public Media for more stories of the creativity, culture, and community that make us Western New England. I'm Saidalis Bauer. Thanks for watching and have a great evening.
Support for Connecting Point is provided by our contributing viewers.
The question is, are they willing to commit these acts?
My mind can't see that it's the feds that's pulling the strings. They gave who they thought to be an Al-Qaeda operative exactly what he had asked for.
They had no weapons.